guys, we are back, guys. Shout out to everybody, guys. Shout out to the subs. Shout out to everybody who clicked on this. And guys, you guys already know every video, it's like, shout out to the Hive, shout out to the Lamb, shout out to the Livies, shout out to the Swifties, shout out to whoever. Guys, let's be so for real right now, guys. Super huge shout out to all the Inyo fans out there, guys. Guys, shout out to all the Inyo-nators. No, that name stinks. That's literally just a ripoff of Arya-nators. Guys, shout out to all the Inyo fans. Guys, so today, guys, you clicked on it. You guys, if you guys don't know what we're doing, what's up with that, guys? Guys, if you don't know what we're doing, I'm glad you're here and you're going to hear it with me, but I'm not going to lie, I'm halfway disappointed because, guys, I say it every single video, guys. I know you guys just want to see me react to stuff that you guys listen to, but, guys, that's not what this channel is for. I don't care really about that, guys. In the description, guys, is a channel with my music. Go check it out. I have more music besides this, guys. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I have an album that I'm actually going to be putting out in the next few weeks, so get ready for that, guys. We're actually kind of similar to this too, kind of similar story. I'll give you guys a quick little ramble about this and then we'll get into this. So guys, okay, because I have an album coming out in a few weeks. I recorded that album a year ago, the one that's coming out. And I recorded the entire thing was improvised. Like, I didn't have any music. And I literally just improvised the entire thing. I played up all the instruments. But I didn't just do that. I improvised it too. Like, I improvised it, but like not just that. Like, it was also like, how do I explain it? Like, it's a weird way to try to describe it. It sounds kind of weird, but it's like, all right, like, I am not, like, you could put a pencil in my hand and I can technically draw, like, hey, we're drawing, but it's like, I can't draw, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, technically, anybody, if you put a pencil in their hand and then move it, like, hey, you're drawing, but you know what I mean, like, somebody who draws good, you know what I mean? And similarly, like, if you put a paintbrush in my hand, like, I could technically paint, but it's like, I can't paint, like, I'm not good at painting, you know what I mean? Like, I've tried these things, trust me. I've tried a lot of visual art stuff. I'm very bad at it. At least, without putting in like a massive amount of time and practice, which I've never done. And so do you know what I'm saying? So I'm really bad at it. What's my point? My point is, okay, I have written a lot of music in my life where it's sort of like, if I was in my mind, in my approach to it, it's sort of like if I'm doing a painting. Like, if I imagine, like, if I was actually, in my mind, it's like, okay, imagine if I was actually good at painting and I wanted to paint something, like, how would I do it? And what is because obviously, especially now, like, this is not like 1,000 years ago where painting was a certain way of trying to record an image. Like, now we have photography, right? And video. So, like, obviously, like, even now more than ever, like, a painting is more about, you know what I mean? Like, expressing what you see, but like in a different way. It's obviously there's still, photorealism, painting and drawing. And that, while that is very cool, like technically, like the technical ability, to me, it's not really expressing anything. All you're really doing is capturing. It's kind of more all technique, which is amazing though. I'm not hating on it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I know this is kind of a long round, but I hope you guys see what I'm saying. So, like, my point is, like, I've written a lot of music about stuff in a way where it's like if I was trying to do a painting about something, if that makes sense to you. But because I don't do visual art, I do music, it's me trying to do, like, a sound version, a musical version of that. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So, what's my point? So, I have an album coming out, guys. Guys, go in the description. Go sub to my other channel, guys. That's my real channel. This channel is not my real channel, guys. This is the who cares? I'm just wasting time. The other channel is the one I care about, guys. Go there. Also, just type in my name, whatever, on wherever you stream music. Inyo Kutse, Inyokut. You see it in the description. So, or the title. So, guys, I have an album that I did. What's my point? The album that's coming out in a few weeks is an album that I wrote like that, where, it was me trying to paint, as it were. You know what I mean? Even though, again, or try to do some type of interpretation, I suppose. My interpretation through sound and music of basically of it's hard to describe. I'll kind of describe it more in detail when when I put the album out, but it's basically of a smile. It's basically like this girl who I know, she has like the most beautiful smile you've ever seen, and I was basically trying to like do that, like get like her smile and like how beautiful her smile is, but to get like okay, if I was gonna paint it, how would I paint her and how beautiful she is and how beautiful her smile is? How would I do that? But then since I don't paint, I have to do it with all this stuff. How do I do it with this stuff? Do you see what I'm saying, guys? And not only that, I was tripping on mushrooms while I did it, and like I said, the entire thing was improvised. It just all came off the top of my head. That's coming out in a few weeks. What's my point about saying that? What does that have to do with what we're about to listen to right now? Well, similarly, guys, what we're about to listen to right now came about in a similar way. This was done in 2019. I put this out in 2020, but I wrote this in 2019. And sort of similarly, this entire thing was improvised. None of this was, written ahead of time or like worked out, or it's not like typical like writing where you kind of like, this was all just done in one go, just improvised in one go. And similarly too, this, if you guys see, I mean, I literally made it the cover because it was just kind of, it had to be. This picture, the original picture looks slightly different. I obviously like edited the shit out of it, like with the colors and like this thing right here, like all these like little swirls, and like if you notice the swirls here are the same swirls that are in the text, and then there's like kind of like gritty little dots. I don't know. It's like I kind of edited the fuck out of the thing, out of the image, but the original image and still the image the way it is. That's a friend who, whatever. Long story short, she took that picture, and I was very 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 guys. Anybody remember on Dark Side of the Moon? I can't remember. I was very drunk at the time. Does anybody remember that on Dark Side of the Moon? We'll get into Dark Side of the Moon in another video. Long story short, this picture, I was incredibly drunk, and I saw this picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, like not only does she look so like so beautiful in the picture, but then the picture itself is just so good, because it's like she's like taking it in the mirror of the machine. Is like a claw game, like those, like you put in the thing and the claw tries to pick stuff up. So if you notice, this is a claw game, a claw machine, and she's taking a selfie with using the mirror. But it just looks so perfect with the bear, and then you get the light strip from, and like look, like if you notice, you see the glass, and this is the glass and the roof. So like the picture is just so perfect. And then she just looks so beautiful in the picture. So it's like, oh, and then I was also just super drunk. So I was like, again, like I said, kind of like the one I have coming out, where I was like, okay, I'm going to like try to make something that I want to paint her. But I can't paint. So I have to make something that sounds as beautiful as she looks in this picture, and as this picture, not just her, but the picture itself too, like the image itself. You know what I mean? And so I remember having that thought, and then the fourth track on here was actually the very first track that I started writing. And I remember kind of like just like sitting down with this little MIDI keyboard. I wrote it played this entire thing on this little ass 32 key MIDI keyboard. And I remember playing, and I remember kind of coming up with. That's why actually that fourth track, you'll notice, it's kind of the most traditional semitonal kind of traditional semi-melody type thing, because the rest of this goes in a whole other kind of way. But so what's my point, guys? So my point is, yes, like I said, my point was why I ramble about the 1.5 coming out is because this one also, like I said, it was my attempt to try to make something that's as beautiful as what I see. You know what I mean? And yeah, this one also happened to be in a very drugged out state. Like I said, the 1.5 coming out, I was tripping on mushrooms. This one, oh, I didn't finish. So this one, I was, like I said, I was drunk. But then I remember doing the first track, which is track 4. But after that, I don't remember anything until I woke up the next day. And yeah, I just woke up the next day. And, fucking, I'm not gonna lie, I was super hungover. I got sick. And I just remember later on going to the studio. It was a different studio, not this studio. I had a different one at the time. And I just remember on my laptop, I had a different laptop that I was using at the time. And I just had a file saved. And it was this entire album. Actually, and there was actually 4 other tracks that didn't make it on this album that I cut out. Because they were good, but they were like, they weren't like, but and I did again, but I was blackout. I was blackout drunk, so I recorded this entire thing, but I don't remember it. I just woke up the next day somewhere else, went back to the studio, and found an entire thing. I'm like, what the fuck? When did I do this? But then like I listened to it. I'm like, oh, I kind of remember doing this. I remember doing the beginning part, but I was like, I don't remember doing the rest of this. But yeah. So I did the rest of it. And also, actually, the whole thing was very much like the whole thing. It's very much, we'll get to it, guys. I'm super rambling, but you'll hear when we get into it. To me, I very much feel like you could hear me, and to me, it sounds like me. But also, if you do know me, and if you are familiar with if you just know me and how much I love these people and if you know their music, you sort of definitely can feel and hear. It's very much, you could definitely feel and hear on this album the Debussy and the Satie and the Ravel like influence. You could definitely hear it. Even the Bill Evans. I can't talk about Bill Evans enough, but I feel like it's still very much, you can still kind of hear though. You know what I mean? Like where it's, I don't know, but so anyway, so I'm rambling, guys. So that's kind of the story behind this, and then the story behind the name of the album. Also, when I got back to the studio the next morning and I listened to this, I had saved it, and I saved it under the title Milashka Music. So that's what I ended up just titling the album, because I ended up saving it as that. Which, to fully explain that, as if I'm not rambling enough. I have a tendency to, I'll give you guys the full backstory, just so you guys could really judge me and think I'm a real piece of garbage, guys. And I'm sure you guys know this, but and you guys are gonna be like, really, fucking really? Are you serious? Hey, shit happens. Sometimes, it just happens. Like, I've always just been the type, until lately, really, because lately I'm just kind of like, whatever. Let's not get into that. But I've usually kind of been like, I don't ever just like, it's never just like, unless, with the exception of being like in a serious relationship, and kind of even then, to be honest with you. But it's like I always, and it's not even necessarily always like in that way, but I just always like, my entire life, first of all, like, I mostly talk to girls. Like, I mostly just talk to bitches. Like, it's mostly like, I do have guy friends, and throughout my life I definitely have had guy friends, but I will definitely say it's kind of overwhelming. Like, And all, of course, for sure, not just as friendship, but that included too, though. What am I even saying? What am I getting at? My point is, when you're talking to a lot of girls at the same time and you're not in a relationship, so you're kind of messing with a bunch of different girls at the same time, it's it gets very, very easy, and it's a very amateur move and a rookie mistake that I learned from it, and that's how my point is getting to the album title. So guys, it's I learned from this back in the day, guys. You accidentally call. You don't mean to do it. I know you guys are like, are you for real? Yes, I really did it one time, guys. I called one chick a different chick's name. But it just happens though, you know what I'm saying? I mean, guys, if you're dealing with like 6, 7 different chicks at one time, like it's gonna happen accidentally. It's like, guys, you ever seen like somebody who has like a bunch of kids and they accidentally call one kid the other kids? I remember my grandma doing that. I remember my grandma would do that all the time with her grandkids too. Like with me and my cousins, she would like call one the other one's name, like all this, because it's just like. I know you guys are like, you know, we're not even at the music yet, and all you're doing is telling us that you're a piece of garbage. Hey, it is what it is, all right? Also, you know, again, if you're not like committed in anything with anybody, I mean, it's all fair game, right? I mean, I don't say there's nothing wrong with any of that. I don't think, right? But my point being, I definitely learned from that because I only ever made that mistake once. Never again. How never again? Well, I never call anybody by their name. Everybody's just babe. After that, everybody's babe. Every chick I ever talked to ever, they're all babe. So if you accidentally say, you never accidentally said the wrong. I know you guys are like, Inyo, you're literally a serious piece of garbage. Hey, you know, I never claimed not to be. I never claimed not to be. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it several times that I am, but so I don't think I ever claimed not to be. But my point being, when I was first learning Russian, I know you guys are like, Russian. Why do you know Russian? I don't know, guys. I don't I don't know. I know a lot of dumb stuff. Who cares? I don't know. Same reason why I have an album that I made a year ago that I haven't put out. I have an album that I made in 2021 that I still haven't put out. Because I don't know. To me, music, I don't care about being successful with music. I should, because I probably could really be successful because I'm so good at it. And I'm really great. Obviously, you guys see my videos. You guys know, I mean, not to hype myself up, it's like I'm very good at talking. I'm very fun and I'm very charismatic. Like, I could very easily, if I wanted to be successful in music, I could. But it's like, I don't know. To me, I've only ever cared about being good at it just because I want to be good at it, just to be good at it, because I want to be good at it. You know what I'm saying? Same, my point is like kind of like learning to speak Russian. Like, I didn't learn to speak Russian because I'm going to like try to like make videos or have people like, I don't know, I just wanted to learn. Like, same reason why I wanted to get good at the guitar, because I just wanted to get good at it. No other reason. You know what I mean? My point, I'm rambling, guys. My point, when I was first learning how to speak Russian, like I said, just because I do it, it's just a thing I do where I call every girl babe. And my friend who happens, like I said, or I don't know if I said, but she happens to speak Russian. She speaks English and Russian. And so I was asking, I was like, oh, how do you say babe in Russian? I was asking her like a million different things. How do you say this in Russian? How do you say, because I was learning Russian, but I didn't realize that the way I was learning it was like, I don't know, I was learning initially off of some course, and she's like, you're speaking way too formal, don't talk to me like that. Yeah, anybody who speaks Russian, you know what I'm talking about, the re versus tui. You know what I mean? Like, I was saying a couple other things, like, does it господин? I don't know. There was a couple things where she was like, don't. She's like, no, don't. She's like, what are you talking to me like that? She's like, that's how I would talk to my great grandmother. She's like, don't talk to me like that. So she was teaching me like different things, and I was like, you know what? I was like, for when I start talking to like Russian bitch, I was like, how do you say babe in Russian? And she told me, and she said, well, she's like, well, there's not really like an equivalent. She's like, you can kind of use this word. She's like, but a better word to use would probably be like Milashka. And she's like, I was like, well, and what's Milashka? She's like, it kind of means like sort of equivalent to like a cutie, or like saying someone's like a cutie in English. And I was like, I don't know. But she told me the actual word, but which I kind of still don't really use, to be honest. But I'll say, I know you guys are like, how many Russian bitches talk? I talk to a million bitches. What do you gotta do, man? I know, don't use that. I know, whatever. So my point, guys, when I had saved this, I had saved this as Milashka music. You see? So there's the story behind the title, guys. That's the story behind the album title, Milashka music. Because I mean, a little Milashka right there, right? So guys, we got Milashka music. So let's just get into this, guys. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna smoke, and guys, if you have not heard this, guys, get ready for this, because this is, I'm not even helping myself up, guys. This is actually so fire. Like, guys, I've been making music since I was a literal child. Like, literally since I was a child, I've been making music since before fucking so many things ever. Like, I've been making music. I've made so much music throughout my life, guys. I know when it's good and when it's bad. I know when it's okay and when it's Guys, I'm not hyping myself up when I say that this shit is amazing. And if you heard this from anybody else, if I had actually tried to promote this, like, or get people to hear this, I guarantee you people would be like, this is actually seriously amazing. Not to mention, if it was actually composed, not to mention the fact that I did this off the top of my head, fucking just try to orally, you know what I mean, with music, like, orally paint how beautiful this girl is while in a blackout state, like, not to mention that, like, that takes it to even another level. Even if I had just sat and composed this for like 2 years, you'd be like, damn, this is like, not me, but if somebody else, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, more well known, and somebody who's, guys, I'm not hyping myself up. I'm so serious when I say this, guys. I know what music I've made stinks, what music is okay, and what music, guys, this music is amazing, guys. Let's get into this. Also random, but so, when you make instrumental music, which is actually called music, I don't know why, again, not to get into that's a whole thing for another subject. That's a whole subject for another video, because guess what, guys? There's no such thing as instrumental music. Music is music. When you want to sing and have lyrics, that's a whole different thing. We'll talk about that in another video. But so when you make music, like actual music, like, you know, there's no singing, there's no lyrics, it's actual music. You have to have titles for everything, and I didn't know what to title anything. That's actually the reason that I haven't put out the album still, the one that's going to be coming out in a few weeks. The only reason I still haven't put it out is because I can't figure out what to call the album and what to title each song. I still don't know. It has to all tie in together with the theme of the album, and everything has to all tie in together. So, like, I didn't know what to, with this one. My point is, all the titles are in French, and they're all actually, if you look them up, guys, they're all super, super beautiful paintings. Because, like I said, I was trying to do a beautiful painting, right? So I was like, oh, well, let me just name everything after some of my favorite beautiful paintings. So I'm super into, like, the Impression. I love all kinds of paintings from all kinds of different styles, of course, but I love the Impressionist and the Post-Impressionist movement. So every track on here is named after a famous, or maybe not so famous, but actually, no, these are all pretty fucking famous. Actually, what am I talking about? These are literally like the most famous ones. Like, they're all incredibly famous, actually. Alright, these are all super famous, let's be for real. But yeah, so anyway, guys, if you want to see some beautiful paintings, look them up, guys. But guys, let me shut up. And guys, released on May 29th, 2020. Guys, we got Inyo Kutse with Milashka music. Let's get into it, guys. Or do we? I love when that happens. I love when the speakers, like, do that. Alright, guys. Let's get into this, guys. Milashka music in your Kutse. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to pause it because, you know, I don't pause music, and I'm not going to pause myself while we're hearing it. But, guys, not to hype myself. Guys, guys, this album is so, guys, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Goodbye, guys. Just remember what we're hearing. I'm gonna full screen the thing. Try to look at the picture. Try to picture that. But also, guys, I just have to throw out there, guys, this whole album, I literally just started out this album with a single note. Like, not to hype myself up, but that intro was fire as fuck. I haven't heard this one in a while. I mean, when I was mixing it and like like I said, I was going through all the songs. Like I said, I cut out like 4 or 5 songs maybe, and then I had to order them because, like I said, the fourth track that we're gonna hear is the first one that I wrote. So they were in a different order. So I had to like do all that, and and then, like I said, I did mix it kind of trippy where it sounds very very like overly compressed, which is never how you would ever do a piano. Like you don't ever put you don't for a classical type thing, which this is not classical to me, but like let's say like a solo piano thing like this, you would never compress it. Like you want to let it breathe and just be natural, like the natural sound of the piano. You would never put compression. You would never throw a compressor on them. Like for what? Like all you need to do is some EQ and that's it. Like maybe a tiny bit of reverb, as a little bit of delay if you really really want to go there, but like that's it. And even that you probably wouldn't even do realistically. Even the verb, you probably realistically you just want the pure sound. You just EQ and that's it. What's my point? I compressed the fuck out of this entire the piano on this entire album, so the piano has like a trippy sound too. So I'm rambling, guys. I'm not trying to help myself, but I'm just letting you guys know about all this stuff because man, this guy's I so killed this. I just want to let you guys know that I super killed this, guys. Guys, let me shut the fuck up, guys. Let's get into this, guys. Release. Let me repeat myself, guys. Release May 29th, 2020, guys. We got Milashka music from Inyo Kutse. Let's get to it. And like listen, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I have to hype myself, but like listen to those consonances and those dissonances, though. The girl on the cover. This is her favorite song on the album. This is harmonically one of the craziest things. Like, it's still so rooted in. Also why I used all impressionist paintings for the titles too, because to me this is like impressionistic music. It's not tonal, it's not modal. There's no key, but it's not modal either. Listen to this harmony. Like even this, even if you want to say this is a modal section. But sure, but it wasn't leading up to it, and now.
that was tonal. I get it. I get it. I'm a big fan of 1 to 4 minor. I get it. But okay, then where did that come from then?
Are you serious? Guys, I don't care. Like, if it sounds like I'm hyping myself up, I don't care, guys. That was amazing, guys. Guys, let's be so for real, guys. If any of your pop favorites released that and they had wrote that and played that themselves, they'll be heralded as the most amazing geniuses. To like, oh, guys, let's be for real. Let's be so for real, guys. I know it might not be like that. Might not be your thing necessarily. Maybe you might not necessarily be into that stuff. I get it. It's like I get it. Trust me. I like stuff that makes me want to just move and dance. And guys, you know how much I love house music. Like it's like, like you guys know it for sure. But like I'm just saying, like for real though, guys. If like, guys, harmonically, guys, like that went so many incredible places harmonically, and melodically, it was so like in terms like it was the melodies were so somewhat simple but still like very like staying on one thing and then switching to another thing, but like just with the transition from the first to the other, the way the melodies would, you know what I'm saying. And then there was a lot of them had very repetitive melody, but that was obviously the point, you know what I mean. And then but harmonically it would like sort of switch up while melodically it might still say the same, so you have a kind of like thing floating on top while everything is kind of changing underneath. Like, man, guys, that was so fire, guys. I really don't care what you guys think, if you guys liked it or not, because I really loved it. Every time I've heard it within the past like 2 years, which has only been a couple times. Cause like I said earlier, like when I did this again, I made this in 2019, like October maybe, and this was released in May of 2020. So in that period, I heard it probably at least 100 times, just hearing it over and over and over, making sure that I actually wanted to put it out, making sure that like all the tracks were in the right order, because those tracks kind of did switch order a little bit from the way I wrote them. Like I said, there were other ones that I had in there originally that I ended up taking out. And then, like I said, mixing it, because you heard it. It had kind of, the piano had a trippy sound. I really loved the way it came out. hearing it right now, like so removed. It's hard when you're working on something because it's like you're working on it so much day in and day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. uh, but you work on it so much day in and day out that like you kind of almost somewhat lose like perspective. You know what I mean? And so like hearing it right now, I really love the way the piano sounded, where it had like it really kind of went what I was going for. Semi lo-fi, not necessarily, but like some of the highs were definitely like you could hear it. Like I EQ'd it in a certain way so that you didn't get a lot of the necessarily super high end, and then like EQ'd it in a certain way that where because of the type of voicings I was playing, you heard a lot of like seconds and fourths voicings. There was like a lot of overtones that would build up, but because the high end was cut off, it would give it like this trippy, like weird little rumble, low end rumble sound because of everything just kind of building up on top of each other. But then also like it had like a, you felt like you heard the hammers hitting. I mean, it almost felt like you were inside it felt like you were outside and inside of the piano at the same time. Like to me, I don't know. Again, not to hype myself up, but it just is what it is. I feel like I killed that. Like on every level, I feel like I super killed that. That piano sounded crazy. And it reminds me too of somebody, we were on a live one time. I don't remember because we've done so many lives, but I don't remember which one it was. But somebody said something about one time about Alicia Keys, and I was like, yeah, we could get into Alicia Keys' discography. I'm down. And I was saying, I was like, I never heard her. The only thing I know for sure is that I used one of her sampled pianos on an album that I made. And on this, that's what I used on this. It's actually, what we heard is actually a combination of 3 different pianos, which doesn't matter, but just for anybody who actually cares or does production shit. That's actually the stock grand piano on Ableton. First of all, I'm on Ableton 9 still. I know Ableton 12 is out. I know I missed 10 and 11 and now 12 is out. I'm still on Ableton 9. But which is what I used back 5 years ago when I made this. I know. I'm still on Ableton 9 even now. But I was on Ableton 9 then. That's a stock grand piano on Ableton 9, but also the very first grand piano preset for Keyscape, and then also on Contact. There's a Contact library of an Alicia Keys piano, and it's like her personal piano, I guess. It's like a Yamaha. I don't even know what the model number is, but it's some Yamaha Grand, and it's like her personal, I guess, like grand. And they sampled it, and her multi-sampled it. I should say they multi-sampled it and turned it into a Contact library. For anybody out there who knows what I'm talking about about the difference between sampling and multi-sampling, and it's basically multi-sampling, just sampling. It doesn't matter. Look it up if you really care. It doesn't really matter, but it's a multi-sampled Contact library of her. Whatever. That's what that was. Well, we just heard the piano right now because, like I said, I did it all on this MIDI keyboard. I did it all via MIDI on a different laptop. So when I put it together, it was, like I said, it was kind of each one had a slightly different EQ and a slightly different amount of verb and a slightly different amount. I don't know if I put any delay. If I did, I put the tiniest amount. I don't even remember, honestly. But I do remember using the Ableton stock grand piano, the Keyscape. Keyscape has a bunch of fire pianos on there. But I've used the very, very first, whatever it is, the grand. I think it was like a Steinway probably. I don't know. And then, like I said, that Contact, Alicia Keys grand library, whatever the fuck. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's just for that's for anybody who out there who cares about production, knows about production. I think everything else I always use stock fucking Ableton plugins for the most part, I think. Yeah, I really do. A little Radiator, which I'm a huge fan of from Sound Toys, but I didn't really start using that until after this album. I started using that in the last couple of years. The album that I have coming out soon, that whole album is ran through Little Radiator. I fucking love that plugin so much. And I actually have another album on the way too, guys, that I didn't. Like I said, I wrote it at the very end of 2020, and I recorded it the very, very, very beginning of 2021. Like literally the first week of 2021, I recorded it, but I just never put it out. So I gotta do that one too. That one is actually, I mean, it's completely done. It's completely mixed. It's mastered. There's a cover. Every song has a title, and it's been sitting. It's just been sitting on my hard drive for the past 3 years. Cause, like I said, I don't know. To me, I know it's different for everybody. I get the music business and fame and success and all that. I don't know. For me, all I ever cared about with music is just actually being a good musician. I never, I don't know. Because also when I was a kid, you know, like when I first started playing, I didn't first start playing on a stage with a bunch of people around me telling me how great I am, and like I just not that's not why I got into music. It's just not why I was. That's not why I love music. I love it because it was fun to play. Like I was by myself, like in my room as a little kid, just by myself with a harmonica, as a little kid, or like when my dad was showing me like how to play like it's fucking like basic, the most basic thing ever. Like when I was like 6 years old, 'cause my dad plays guitar, like. At like 6 years old, learning how to like like hit the strings and shit, like that was just fun. It wasn't like, you know what I mean. I was just my dad was just showing me how to hit the strings. Like it wasn't like the gigs and the success of the music industry and the bit like I don't know. It was just fun to play. Like you know what I'm saying. So for me, it's always like for me, music has always been just fun, just because it's fun, just because that's what it is. You know what I mean. Independent of like trying to be successful or trying to do it. I wish I really should try to be. I really will. I'll do it one of these days, guys. But my point, guys, what's my point of all that? My point is, because of that, guys, that's why I have multiple albums. And it's not just those two. I actually have 4 albums. Literally 4 albums that I just haven't put out because I don't know. Make your own Waka Waka 70s joke. Put out. I gave you the setup, guys. I haven't put out. I'm like fill in the blank, guys. We'll be back. Shout out to everybody. I love you guys. Go in the description because my new music will be out, even though it's not brand new. It came out a year ago, but I mean I wrote it a year ago, guys. I have literally. Actually, I have 5 albums. Fuck, I have so many. Guys, I have so much music to put out. Go in the description, guys. We'll be back.